After some good fortune came my way, I found out I could attend Pittsburgh Regionals only a day before registration had opened. I was really excited as this was going to be my first regional. At the time, I was super attached to this Giraffe-based Trick Room team, but after going 5-3 in a Limitless tour where Giraffe was literally never useful, I sought out a new secondary mode to the team. I ended up swapping Giraffe and Amoonguss for Torkoal and Hisui and Lilligant, keeping the rest of the team almost the same except for swapping Heatwave for Armor Cannon on Armarouge. Lilligant and Torkoal worked as an excellent backup lead, and even in corner cases, I'd bring them in spots 3 and 4 behind the Span lead. Now, compared to most Sun-based Trick Room teams, we have two pieces here that are a little bit obtuse. My Iron Hands, which I've dubbed Beefcake, is entirely defensively oriented. I'll get to more details on the Iron Hand in a moment. Glastrier performs really well under Trick Room, because he's very slow, enough to outspeed an Amoonguss at most situations, or at worst speed tie, and he'll outspeed most other Trick Room threats except for Torkoal. Coverage-wise, you can't really beat a combination of Ice, Steel, and Ground. He's got something to hit everything, and he matches excellently into Heatran, despite being weak to both Fire and Steel normally. Heatran tends to not want to take a Stomping Tantrum, and to avoid that, they're going to go for the Terra Grass. Either way, Glastrier's got the damage for that, and on the rare occasion we see the Terra Fairy, Heavy Slam comes in clutch. Heavy Slam is also excellent for Flutter mains, and the Icicle Crash deals with all the little men and women on clouds that like to pull their little pranks and taunts. Crunch ended up just being a filler move. I didn't use it much, but I was going with Assault Vest, and I didn't Terra Glastrier as often as I wanted to justify using Terra Blast at the end. Now, I've been calling Iron Hands Beef Hands, Beefcake, and all sorts of similar variants of that name, because as you can see, he's got quite the defensively invested profile. There is no Adamant nature or Brave nature, and no attack EVs whatsoever. So he caps at 160 attack at level 50. The 84 HP, so we have a nice round 240 HP for Leftovers Recovery, and then we jam as much special defense as we can into the guy, and then max out the remaining EVs in his defense. This build is bulky enough to take a lot of hits it has no business taking. It can survive more than one Stomping Tantrum from a Landorus, 2 Earth Powers from a Heatran, Dazzling Gleams from certain Flutter mains, and the thing I was most impressed to see, it can take a Terra Water, Surging Strikes in the rain, and live at 8% without a roll. The amount of my opponents that I was caught off guard by this Iron Hands at Pittsburgh was amazing. And that's part of the reason why I did this. With the open team sheet, they can see that I have Armor Cannon on Armarouge. They can see the Glastrier of Heavy Slam and an Assault Vest. My opponents don't get to know the defensive profile of this Iron Hands unless they face it. So they'll be calculating that, oh, that Stomping Tantrum is going to kill in 2 hits. That Dazzling Gleam is going to kill in 2 hits. And then it doesn't, and it throws off their entire momentum. Iron Hands alone has won me so many games it's not even funny, and next to the incredibly bulky Glastrier, these guys form an absolutely excellent glue in this team that can go behind either the Span lead or the Sun Coal lead. The rest of the team is pretty straightforward. Both leads have most of the stats and the moves you'd expect. Armarouge has HP slightly lowered for optimal Life Orb recoil. The Terra types are relatively straightforward, but I'll run from them really quick. Armarouge tends to want a Grass Terra so that you can avoid incoming super effective water and ground hits, and he doesn't gain the fire weakness due to the ability Flash Fire. Basically the same reason Heatrans are running Grass Terra most of the time. Torkoal wants a Fire Terra for the maximum damage output of Eruption and Flamethrower. Pretty straightforward there. Lilligant wants Ghost Terra to avoid fake outs when possible. And Indeedee goes for a Fairy Terra so you can safely redirect dark moves like Wicked Blow from Urshifu, and it also to boost the power of Indeedee's Dazzling Gleam. I opted for Wide Guard on Armarouge over a third attack like Aura Sphere or Energy Ball, because there's a lot of Chi-Yu leads that put me in a really awkward spot when they have like Snarl and Overheat and Dark Pulse and Heat Wave, or with Tornadus and Landorus. Wide Guard lets me make a lot of more safe plays to get to Trick Room up. Like, say there's a Landorus next to a Tornadus, I'll usually go something like Terra Armarouge, Wide Guard, Trick Room on Indeedee. The reason for this is that Landorus doesn't have anything that's going to one-shot Armarouge if it Grass Terras. Even U-Turn will do like 40-50%. Wide Guard blocks a possible Rock Slide, Earthquake, and Wind Bleak Storm, and Indeedee is then guaranteed to get the Trick Room off. On Torkoal, I opted for Clear Smog over Earth Power, mostly because, like, Glastrier deals with a lot of the ground weaknesses with Stomping Tantrum, and there was just enough Dondozo in the format that I wanted to respect the Dondozos with Clear Smog, and in my matchups where my opponents had Dondozo, it shied them away from bringing it, giving me a lot more breathing room. I've seen the argument for Lilligant, whether you want a Jolly Nature or Adamant Nature, but I find Jolly Nature is a little bit overkill in the speed department. With an Adamant Nature, you still outspeed a Booster Energy bundle, and I'm not super worried about Choice Scarf Regieleki. So we opted for an Adamant Nature just to get a little bit more punch out of the close combats and Solar Blades. In my match notes, I would refer to the Armarouge lead as Psy, the Lilycole lead as Sun, and Beefcake and Caligula as Glue, because they are the two Pokemon that I bring almost every game, regardless of which lead we bring. Now, I only really brought Lilligant and Torkoal when I was certain that Armarouge could get there, and admittedly, I was a bit too stingy on that. There was matchups where I was confident Armarouge could get there, and it couldn't, and even after Game 2, I didn't see it. Game 3, I would go into a pretty poor matchup, because I refused to bring Lilligant and Torkoal. That's not to say that the Armarouge isn't good, I just didn't utilize the options I'd given myself well enough. But I think that was also, could be chalked up to nervousness, because it was my first regional. I ended up finishing 5-4, which was a little bit disappointing after a lead of 4-1. But I just barely made points at 121st, and I had an excellent time. Overall, I think this team still has legs going into Regulation E, and so far the only things I think I would change would be possibly Water Terra on Iron Hands, and for Glastrier, maybe dropping Crunch for Protect and switching Assault Vest to Clear Amulet, and obviously upgrading Stomping Tantrum to the now available high horsepower. Without any further ado, let's get to some games so you can see how the team plays. Alright, so now we're going to go live with a few matches. Now bear in mind, these games are after the DLC has gone live, so we might see Ogrepons, we might see the Loyal 3, Sinistra. Yep, there's Ogrepon right there. So far, Ogrepon hasn't really been a problem for us. Now, this team usually handles Rillaboom pretty easily. We can lead Armarouge and Indeedee, and bring the normal stuff in the back. I'm not really worried here. A lot of people have been greedily leading Rillaboom since Ogrepon dropped for some reason, which is really bad for them against Trick Room. If they don't lead with the Rillaboom, we're going to Armor Cannon into one of the opposing slots expecting a Rillaboom switch. Overall, this matchup, these types of Rillaboom, Fluttermane, Tornadus, balanced teams, they haven't been that terrible for this. These are the types of teams that Trick Room really preys upon in most BTC formats, like the balanced teams. Okay, so then Fluttermane and Ogrepon. I'm almost certain there's going to be a Rillaboom coming in the Ogrepon slot or the Fluttermane slot. I can't, unfortunately, get my free Trick Room here because I have to follow me, but Armor Cannon should be a free KO regardless. Okay, so he goes to the Terra. That's probably Ogrepon. Which is good for me, because now he doesn't have Mold Breaker. If Indeedee goes down here, we're now in a much better spot to get the Trick Room up safely using Armarouge. Does that KO Indeedee? Probably. Yeah, I figured. Oh. I think he expected me to get Trick Room up safely? Or to like Trick Room of Armor Rouge? Because I bet that Fluttermane is using its own Trick Room then. Yeah. Okay. You take that. This is a good spot for Glastrier. Now we're gonna Armor Cannon into that slot again, because it's probably gonna be what switches for Rillaboom, and it doesn't look like it can take another Armor Cannon. Fluttermane probably doesn't have Protect if it has Trick Room, so the Heavy Slam should be good there. Okay, he went for Spike or Shield, doesn't even matter. Oh, he was gonna try. Oh, okay, that's frustrating. Sash, Trick Room, Fluttermane. Oh. Not Sash, Trick Room, Fluttermane, just KOing my Armor Rouge Fluttermane. Okay. I like this. I think the safest play is to go for a Drain Punch into the Ogerpon slot and an Icicle Crash into the Fluttermane slot. Okay, so that's probably going to be Rillaboom. Oh, Ursaluna. Oh. That's probably Rillaboom then. That works out great. I don't think this turn could have gone better for me. So here's the thing. He doesn't have Terra left. And Rillaboom can only fake out one of these things. So I think the right play here is to go Drain Punch into Rillaboom, Icicle Crash. Actually, we're gonna Terra Iron Hands and Drain Punch into Ursaluna, and then Icicle Crash into Ursaluna. As long as he doesn't Protect, then we're guaranteed to get the hit on Ursaluna and have one more safe turn of Trick Room. I doubt he's going to Fake Out and Protect. Yeah, okay. With the extra Bulk and Iron Hands, that shouldn't KO. There we go. And there we go. So what's gonna happen is, I'm pretty sure we'll be in a spot where he can't KO both of my Pokemon in one turn with Ogerpon and Fluttermane, and then I think we can do this. Because I don't think that Fluttermane has Protect, otherwise it would have switched it out. I don't think... So I think the best position is to do that. And we'll Stomping Tantrum into the Fluttermane slot in case he switches to Ogerpon. Okay, it did have Protect. I wouldn't have guessed. He gets off some Grassy Glide damage, sure. So what I think we do here, Trick Room's gonna be done, and we're gonna double it into Ogerpon. Because I think, if my math is right, whatever Ogerpon doesn't attack survives the Dazzling Gleam of the Shadow Ball, and then should survive another one to get the KO. even better if it's Iron Hands that lives, because then we get leftovers heal and more bulk overall. But I think this is fine. So, Intrepid Sword no longer happens every time it switches in, but this new ability does. That's interesting. Okay, yeah. So if he went Ivy Cudgel into Iron Hands, we're fine. The Shadow Ball doesn't even 2-tap Glastrier. I was particularly hopeful that we would see the value of Glastrier this game, how bulky he is, how hard he hits. My, what a brilliant horse. Don't think it matters which I use, but I don't think he has an out here. A Shadow Ball crit. I don't even know if that does it. Yeah, I don't think a crit would have even gotten me there. What a game. I never even got my own Trick Room off. He miscalculated what he would kill me with, gave me a Trick Room, and I just worked with it. What a game. Now, I've admittedly found Glastrier easier to use in best of 3s and best of 1 closed team sheet, so getting such a good game of Glastrier for the first match of the video makes me really happy. Okay, another Ogerpon team. Now, see, we're just getting to see the staying power here. This one seems pretty straightforward. I think we just go for the Armor DD here again. As much as I'd like to show off the Lilycole part of the team, neither of these teams have really been sensible for it. Hopefully, if we get 1 or 2 more games in time, we'll get at least one Lilligant game. Now, I don't know what he's so scared of, but I bet it's the Glastrier. It unironically hits everything on this team really hard except for Ogerpon. If there's a game to I thought game 1 was great for Glastrier, but if we're wanting to show him off, this game might be even better if we can get him out safely under Trick Room. He might just mow through everything. He tried to Dragon Pulse an interesting lead. Now, I think what matters here is, am I more scared of Dragon Darts or am I more scared of Earth Power? He's not going to likely use a Ghost move because he's scared to follow me, but he doesn't know that I have Fairy Terra, which is great for Dragon Darts. And DD can take an Earth Power anyway, so I think we just go with the classic Trick Room Follow Me with the Terra Fairy on a DD to nullify the Dragon Darts. And PSA for anybody watching this video who doesn't know yet, as of the Teal Mask DLC, Trick Room can actually straight up be taught to female and DD via TM. It's no longer like a glitch move that you can only get from the range. You can breed your Indeedee, you can hunt for a good shiny with a good mark, get your 0 attack, 0 speed 1. See, he went for Dragon Darts. And teach Trick Room. So that's a fantastic change that they made. That Heatran's gonna be a pain in the rump, but there's not a whole lot we can do about that right now. We need Indeedee to go down, but maybe I shouldn't have teared there. Maybe I should just let Indeedee die. That's okay. He might switch into something Sash, so I'm gonna go for the Dazzling Beam Expanding Force rather than Helping Hand Expanding Force. It also could just be for Ridge Wrath. Okay. That still hurts. Oh yeah. That was crit. Oh, that breaks the sub! That's fantastic. Now, if he's gonna Earth Power into Armor Rouge, that's frustrating, but it's also kind of fine. Oh. Sure. Now, we can't switch out Indeedee. You don't really need to follow me, because he can't Magma Storm the Armor Rouge. Now, if this is the Magma Storm he almost certainly doesn't have Earth Power either. So I think we're safe to just Helping Hand Expanding Force. Heatran will either protect or substitute. Ridge Wrath probably doesn't have protect. Let's see. See, some games with this team you get to just do Armor Rouge things. You don't have to justify the crazy Iron Hand spread, the Glastrier sitting in the back. Some games you get to just do Armor Rouge things. Now that we know the Expanding Force should take out the Heatran substitute, I think we're good to Expanding Force Dazzling, and it might just barely kill that Heatran. And if Ogrepod has a Sash, which no, it can't have a Sash, what am I saying? I keep forgetting how this new guy works. But his best option here is making a Spiky Shield. Yeah, you protect. You probably have Spiky Shield. Oh, that's not the last turn of Trick Room, is it? If it was the last turn, I probably should have gone for the double Trick Room to switch, but... Let's see. What's funny is in Pittsburgh, I actually had an opponent who played around thinking it was the last turn. It was no longer Trick Room. He thought Trick Room was done. I knew it was the last turn, so I was playing around him protecting. It's because I used things like Swords Dance and Sleep Powder or whatever I did, but not attacking things. And he was expecting me to try to set Trick Room. It ended up working out for him because because he thought that Trick Room was done. If I had just played aggressively, I would have had that game. It was kind of funny. We both laughed about it after. It was in the X3 bracket anyway. I wasn't super mad about it. Okay, so we went to the Water Embodiment Terra. Gets a special defense boost. Maybe I should have gone for the Helping Hand. But this is fine. Because, like, what's this thing gonna do to Iron Hands? What's Heatran gonna do to Iron Hands? And what's Dragapult gonna do to Glastrier? Oh, he does have Earth Power. That's a very dead Armor Rouge then. Oh. Now I think because the Psychic Terrain is going to end this turn, and because it's a blind ladder mech game, he's going to think my Iron Hands has Fake Out probably. I bet there's no good reason to think that I won't see a Spiky Shield to protect this turn, so we can... Armor Rouge dies if it stays against anything, so we might as well just try to Trick Room. If it dies, it dies. But I think we Trick Room and Sword Stance. He can't KO Iron Hands with either of his Pokemon, and he's probably worried about Fake Out. Maybe he protects with one of them and attacks Armor Rouge with the other. See, he has to think about it. Yeah, okay. Okay. Oh, and he lives! Oh, what a... Oh. This poor gentleman. I am so sorry. So we go Expanding Force into the Heatran, that's probably clicking Protect. We're gonna Thunder Punch into the Ogerpon slot. Even if he switches to Dragapult, he takes a big chunk of damage. Oh, he goes for the second Psychic Shield and hits it. That's fine. He's stalling, but we have enough turns of Trick Room that it doesn't really matter. I think we run back the same turn. Based on the fact that the substitute was popping into Expanding Force. No, that's when it was boosted by the terrain, though. It might survive this. I think that's fine for me. I think Iron Hands goes before Armor Rouge, takes up the Ogerpon. Yeah, that's fine. Gotta respect it though, I haven't seen too many of the water Ogerpons, even in like the regular ladder on Showdown. Heatran surviving that doesn't really make a huge difference either way. It's gonna get a couple of Protector. Oh, the Magma Storm misses, that's beneficial. I don't think it made or break that. I don't think that was like a make or break situation, but helps. Oh my god, my controller's being weird. There we go. Now the Dragapult's almost certainly just Bandit, so we're just gonna go Ice Crash there. Drain Punch there. Heatran protects. Doesn't really matter. It could have mattered slightly if that missed, but it didn't miss. We're fine. Glastrier's gonna clean up this game. Look at my horse, for it is amazing. I bet if you give it a lick, it tastes like ice cream. So there you have it, there's one more in the bag for the Glastrier team. Go for another round. Alright, let's see what we got here. This might be a team I bring Lilligant against. And play it very differently. Unfortunately, not a Glastrier game, I don't think. Actually, let's do this. We'll bring in DD so that we can set up terrain to turn off taunt, grassy glide, fake out. But I like the idea of Glastrier in the back for either after shenanigans, or we can get a Trick Room in DD. Because then Glastrier can just sort of steamroll through this. We'll play it two ways, because I bet he's going to play harder around side spam with a team like that. Okay, so that's a great start for me. I think, to begin, we will sleep out of the Tyranitar slot, and we'll protect for Torkoal. He's probably going to switch out Tyranitar, so we get a free sleep on entry. I don't think he's going to Terra the Ogre Pond just yet. More likely he might Terra the Tyranitar if it's Ghost Terra to avoid close combat damage. One of the few scenarios, though, that I kind of wish I kept Solar Beam on Torkoal. I've never actually seen the Rock Terra Ogre Pond used yet, so this is kind of cool. Terra Tyranitar. Yeah. It's about what I expected. Protect. So what does Ogre Pond do? So I think now we go for another Sleep Powder into the Ogre Pond, followed by an Eruption from Torkoal. Did we Terra yet? I don't think so. Glastrier being able to tear away the rock weakness seems really valuable against. Oh, it's Grass type, right? That's on me. That's on me for forgetting. Yeah. Okay. That's entirely my bad. For forgetting that. It's only It's only pure rock type after it Terras. That's correct. Oh man, I fumbled there. That's okay. That does that. Yeah, Tyranitar stays asleep this turn, we're in a really good spot. Okay. Oh, missing Torkoal is huge. That was amazing. Now I have a decent feeling this Rillaboom is going to try and fake out my Lilligant. So I think... we Ghost Terra. Go for a Sleep Powder in the Tyranitar, and if it hits, we Flamethrower the Rillaboom, because I don't see any reason why this wouldn't be faking out, if it has it. If it has Grassy Glide, it's going into the Torkoal, and then nothing else I can do about that anyway. Tactical will delay it. This is my best play, considering that I don't know if it has Grassy Glide or not. I don't know if it's allowed to use Grassy Glide. I know those new Pokemon are allowed, I don't know what the move. Oh, fake so Torkoal. Okay. See, still nothing I can really do about that. even though he has Fake Out and he's got a defense boost. So I think now he's set up to get Glastrier out, because Glastrier can just sort of carry away the game against the rest of the team, if I remember right. Especially since the Terra is burned. Yeah, it's got super effective hits for everything. So I think we just close combat the Rillaboom and sort of accept its fate. Maybe Trick Room. Really good this almost certainly going down this turn, but that's fine. Okay, that actually might benefit me now, because I think Lilligant will now outspeed Fluttermane. I guess we just dazzle everything. Tyranitar definitely outspeeds Lilligant, but we just have to hope it stays asleep. That's still fine though. Reasonable chance that this Fluttermane is Specs. I'm trying to figure out what I'm more scared of. Oh, that was weird. Probably Tyranitar. I have lower physical defense than special defense, and he's got stab, super effective moves. Fluttermane might straight up have protection and waste his turn. If it does, it's huge. So as long as it's dazzling me, that's probably okay. What has to happen here is Glastrier needs to be able to survive this, plus a Fake Out, plus another, plus whatever else really they can throw at it. Doesn't feel great, but with the grassy terrain heal, it might be possible. Now we're gonna go for the Icicle Crash into the Rillaboom slot first. So we're still not sure if that Fluttermane has protect, or if he even knows to use it. Okay. So now what matters? Does Rillaboom have protect? Does Fluttermane have protect? How many turns are left? One. Okay. I think the Fluttermane is more likely of the two to have protect, and it's the more likely to use it, which puts me in a favorable position. Oh, he's grassy blind. Okay. That changes everything. I just lose. Okay. So Grassy Glide is legal. I wasn't sure. Alright, interesting game. Disappointed to have lost it, but it was well played on my opponent's part. So that's the team. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of it, if there are any changes you would make, or if there's anything that you particularly like or dislike about the team. My main focus of this channel is always going to be Trick Room related content, so you can expect to see some new Trick Room teams from me once in a while, as well as videos about different aspects of Trick Room, how to pick a good setter, how to figure out how to play obtuse things like Glastrier. I'm going to be all about Trick Room here. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.